channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Today I'm sharing with you my cruelty-free drugstore winter foundation routine. I'm wearing all the products right now. I want to share with you some products that I have been loving that are budget friendly, cruelty free, and this has been like my go-to base look. So this is my foundation routine. I hope you guys enjoy. I haven't done one of these in forever. I hope you guys like it. And let's go ahead and hop right into the video. Alright, so the first thing I always like to do is make sure my skin is prepped with my skincare. And I've already done that ahead of time. I try to do my skincare, especially if I know I'm going to be wearing makeup or filming. I like to take really good care of my skin before applying makeup. Good skincare routine, you guys, is super important if you want your makeup to look really good, and especially in the winter months. There's definitely a lot of things that you should do, some extra steps to get that smooth, soft, really good base for the rest of your makeup. If you guys want to see a more in-depth video talking about some of my favorite, cruelty-free products and whatnot for skin and how to like keep your skin really good in the winter months, then definitely let me know. Leave a comment and I'll put that video together for you guys and talk more in depth about like skincare and how to keep that flaky dry skin at bay. Alright, so the first step is primer. Now, I have yet to find a primer that I love just as much as my Too Faced Hangover primer. I have used the Wet n Wild Coverall primer in the past. I know they recently came out with new primers and sprays, so there's definitely a lot of options out there. NYX Cosmetics has a lot of products, e.l.f. Cosmetics as well. They have a really great range of primers you can check out and just find something that's going to have really good ingredients, something that's hydrating. Look for the word hydrating and moisturizing on the package. Now, this is not advertised as a primer, but I will be using the e.l.f. Soothing Aloe Mist. I find that when I spray this on my skin before foundation, it actually just helps boost like the glow. It just helps my skin look really nice and it just feels really good as well, and it just adds a little something extra. So if I am going to skip primer, and like I mentioned, I really don't have a drugstore hydrating primer that I'm in love with, so I'm just going to use this as an alternative. This is really great. I love this product. You can also use this as a makeup refresher throughout the day. So now I'm just going to give it a quick shake and a little spray. And I'm just gonna pat that in. So for foundation today, I'll be using the Milani Cosmetics Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation. I'm in the shade 00A Porcelain. I really like this in the drier months, so definitely in the winter and fall. I've been really loving this foundation. I actually really didn't like wearing this in the summertime. It broke apart. It wasn't very long lasting, but I find that the way I've been using it recently, it's been lasting a lot longer and it looks really good on the skin as well. Has really great coverage, and I do come in a pretty decent shade range, so I definitely recommend checking this out. I think it's good if you have dry to normal skin. It's just not too matte, it's not too dewy, it's just right in the middle. I also love that this has a pump, so I'm just going to do 2 pumps on the back of my hand. I'm just going to warm it up on the back of my hand with my finger. Just warm it up a little bit. And I'm just going to dot this all over. So I'm just going to use a damp beauty sponge to press the foundation, and I'm just bouncing. I'm not spreading or going in a downward motion. I'm just literally bouncing the sponge off of my skin and gently pressing it into the skin. I prefer using a damp sponge, especially in the winter months, pretty much all the time, because it gives you a nice flawless finish. It doesn't leave any brush strokes, any patchiness. If you use a brush, sometimes a foundation brush can do micro exfoliating, and if you're using a sort of buffing motion with a foundation brush, it can sometimes cling to dry patches on your skin. It can cause a little bit of flaky skin to kind of like lift off and look really gross, and you can also end up with a lot of brush strokes as well. So I just prefer using a damp sponge. So if you've been using a foundation brush and you notice so many issues, switch to using a damp beauty sponge, whatever brand you want to find. I also like to take whatever is left and go down the neck a little bit, and sometimes on the ears, just so that everything is nice and even. So for a little bit of color correcting underneath the eyes, I'm using the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Makeup Concealer Stick, and I'm in the shade Nude for Thought. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this and go right under the eyes and a little bit in the inner corner here, just to brighten and color correct. This is very creamy, it's very emollient, and I find that this is really great. I use this all year round. It's one of my favorite concealers from the drugstore. I'm just using the pointy side of my sponge, and again, I'm just pressing very gently to blend that concealer into the skin, and I'm keeping it right underneath that under eye area. So now that we have that down, I like to go in with a second concealer. Again, this is totally optional. If you don't need to color correct, you don't have to color correct. So one of my favorite drugstore concealers right now is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. I'm in the shade C1. I'm going to go ahead and apply this right over top of that concealer stick that we put down. So I like to apply a dot right here in the inner corner and just kind of dab this all along my under eye area. This is just gonna help conceal even more. And I also like to take a little bit of this on my nose because I tend to have a lot of redness on my nose and discoloration. So that's pretty much all I'm going to conceal. So once again, going in with the beauty sponge, and I'm being really gentle. We're going to press that product into the skin. I'm going to go over the nose. And again, just gently patting. So for the eyelids and sort of like a color corrector slash primer, I love using the Jordana Continuous Almond 12-Hour Pencil. This is kind of hard to find. I'm almost out of this one, but I love this because it's so opaque. It's the perfect shade for my skin tone, and it's like a color corrector. It covers up my veins, my redness, and it also primes my eyes for eyeshadow. So it's like an all-in-one product. It's not advertised as an eyeshadow primer, but I absolutely love it for that. Going right over the lid, and I'm going to apply a little bit in the crease, and then I'm just going to take my ring finger and press that and blend that out. And I like to pull this all the way up to the brow bone area because I do have a lot of redness there. And again, you can go through, add a little bit more, a little less. I'm just making sure to blend this as quickly as possible because this does set very fast. So I like to do one side at a time. So you can see a huge difference already between this side with the Jordana pencil and this side without. So right after priming my eyelids, I do like to set that area and also underneath the eyes with powder. And my favorite setting powder for underneath the eyes is the High Definition Under Eye Setting Powder from e.l.f. Cosmetics. You guys know this is a holy grail favorite powder for me. I love this because it's translucent, yet it's soft and gentle. It doesn't dry out my under eye area, and it's the only powder that I have truly loved for such a long time. I do like to use my damp sponge with the powder, and then other times I'll use a brush. I really love the e.l.f. Cosmetics highlighting brush, or the tapered blending brush, I believe it's called, because it has a really nice sort of oval tulip type shape, and it fits perfectly right underneath the eye area. So I want to use this brush today because I find that it works really great. I've been using this lately and I love it. So I'm just going to dip into the powder, swirl my brush around. You can see there's a nice amount on there, and I always tap my brush off. And we're just going to, as quickly as possible, set that concealer underneath the eyes. And I'm not being very aggressive or rough at all. And this brush is really soft, so it's not going to scratch your skin either. Alright, I'm going to take the same brush with the powder, more powder again, tap off, and I like to set that eyeshadow base and or primer, whatever primer you're using. I love using a translucent powder for this because it's going to set that primer into place, prevent it from creasing, and I find that this also gives a smooth canvas. And when you go in with your eyeshadows, I find that it's just easier to blend eyeshadow over top of a set lid. It just makes blending a lot easier. Alright, so now that we have set the concealer, I do like to add a little bit of setting powder just to set the areas where I know I get creasing or places where I'm going to be contouring, adding bronzer, you know, taking a brush and being not aggressive, but I'm going to be doing a lot of blending onto the skin. I find that when I don't set those areas with a light powder, it can lift your foundation up. It is possible. And my favorite powder from the drugstore 100% is the e.l.f. Beauty Shield Antioxidant Armored Setting Powder. I'm in the shade Sheer Natural. I believe this does come in a couple other shades. This is just barely light enough for my skin tone. It does have a slight tint to it. So I'm just going to, again, apply a little bit of powder into the lid. It even says pour powder here. And this one does have this really silky smooth texture. It's not drying on the skin whatsoever. It's just such a beautiful powder. This is like one of the best ones I've ever tried from the drugstore. So I'm going to use a very large powder brush. This is the one from Real Techniques. I'm just going to, again, swirl my brush in the cap. Really get that product up into the bristles. So I am going to set my entire face because I pretty much do it anyway. So I'm just going to lightly set everything. I'm going to go down the neck. And again, I'm just pressing the brush onto the skin. I'm not doing buffy motions. If you do that, you can do micro exfoliation and start getting that patchy look. We don't want to disturb that foundation that we already laid down. Alright guys, so that's pretty much my foundation routine. At this point, I would go ahead and do my eyebrows and then finish off my face with like bronzer, contour, highlight, and then I would set my skin. There's a lot of really great setting sprays from the drugstore. I really love the one from Hard Candy. One of my favorites is the one from BH Cosmetics. That's another one of my favorite products to just kind of lock everything in. But if you want to add a little extra hydration, I really do love these e.l.f. sprays. Alright guys, so that is my foundation routine. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I will of course link and list all of the products that I used today down below in the description box, so make sure to check that out. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy, but if you want to see more like routine videos or anything winter related or skincare related, I do have kind of an idea to do like my favorite winter products for like skin and keeping your skin healthy and soft and not flaky and dry from this really dry winter weather. So let me know if you would be interested in seeing that video. If you guys want to know what I'm wearing, I did film this tutorial for Valentine's Day. Very soft, glam, romantic. So if you guys want to see this look, I'll be sure to link that video down below. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I post on every Tuesday, Friday, and sometimes on Sundays, 10 a.m. every single week. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me today. I will catch you all in the next video. Remember, smarter beauty is better beauty. Bye guys.